Good afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody is doing so good, so good. This is what I've been doing nonstop on the phone all day, ever since the end of Dear America. I know that everybody thinks that I just am not doing anything all day long and they can just blow me up and no, I'm not going to share your tweet or your post or anything else. Phone has been nonstop. Wow. Everybody's doing good this afternoon. Flip the American flags, fly them out there in the chat, like it, subscribe it. Hit it. Let me there's a little thumbs up right at the bottom of the video. All you got to do is hit that thing and just make sure that number drives right on up. We're sort of in a nightmare right now. We're in an algorithmic nightmare. I've sort of backed off a little bit from certain things on social media, trying to do a little reset here, but I don't know. And it's just been insane and crazy and a lot of nonsense going on around here, trying to stay on top of everything and try to keep these shows running and going. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like Rumble, we used to have editors picks. Now they're doing like the live feed premieres with all these other guys now that Bongino's gone to the FBI. And it's just all kind of crazy stuff. All kind of crazy stuff that's going on. But I'm glad you guys have taken time out of your busy schedule to hang with us here today. We'll have a little fun. Talk about some stuff. I'll give you some opinion on the Pete Hegseth situation, the Signalgate, or whatever we're calling it. It's a mess. And I'm going to prove to you that two things can be true at once. We were having that conversation. Mr. Producer put that little bug, that little phrase in my ear, and I agree wholeheartedly with that. And Party Foul Steve's got to be quiet. I can hear him in my ear. He's in there talking to his phone. He's texting. It might be Mr. Producer. It might be the Lord for all I know. Man, I hope if Jesus starts talking to me in an audible voice that it does not sound like an Autobot. You know, I hope it doesn't sound mechanical and things like that. Whew. There it is, folks. Take that deep breath, man. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are excited about you're in the middle of the week, and it's about time to start heading downhill towards the weekend. Next week, I will be in Kansas. We're in Hayes, Kansas, and then Sharon Springs. I call it Sharon Springs. They may call it Sharon Springs over there. I don't know why people have to call things by weird names. But Sharon Springs is something we try to do every year. Middle of nowhere, Kansas is almost Colorado. That show's already sold out. It's been sold out for weeks. Hayes, Kansas, I think they still have the room to put some people in there, but it's selling quick. So if you guys are anywhere in central Kansas, or you'll correct me, that's like central to east Kansas. I don't know. I know it's northwest of Wichita, and I'm flying into Wichita, and we're driving over there. And then we're driving all the way across the state to get over to Sharon Springs. And then when we're done with that, we're going to go to Denver and turn around and come back home. But we got a lot of shows coming up. Go to watchchad.com, find out where all the fun stuff is. Constantly planning some things, out there having a good time. All right, are you guys in here? Are y'all locked and loaded? Get them in here. Share it, share it, share it. Tell people to come on here and join. Let's get so you're saying Hayes is northwest, Jennifer, and Sharon Springs is way west. See, that's a girl's geography right there. That's called central. Okay, we're going to call that central. But either way, yes, going to be in Hayes, and then Sharon Springs is all the way over, basically Colorado. So anyway, we got lots of stuff coming up. And I'd love for somebody to tell me, is it Sharon or Sharon? My booking agent's always calling it Sharon Springs. And I'm like, that sounds Sharon-tarted, if that's the way he's saying it. But I digress. I love those folks over there. They're good people. Last year, just a little story. Last year when I went in there, they canceled my flight. I was flying into Denver. Storms were hitting. So I had to fly into Garden City, Kansas. I could not rent a car because I'm on a do not rent list for everybody except for maybe Budget and Avis, because rental car companies are the bane of my existence. They are the most horribly run businesses in the world. And if you ever turn a car in early in the morning and the guy that works there in Atlanta, Georgia doesn't check the car in, they'll basically accuse you of stealing the car 3 days later because some moron forgot that it was sitting on the lot and they didn't scan the little symbol. So there's certain do not rent lists I'm on. Oh, and if you ever crash your truck or somebody runs into you and the insurance company gives you a rental car and you keep it an extra day and pay them $79 for the rental, beyond what the insurance will pay. Guess what Enterprise will do? They too will put you on a do not rent list. So as a guy who travels, being on do not rent list is horrible. I landed in Garden Springs. Enterprise said, nope, you can call corporate. I said, I've been calling corporate for 12 years. So I turned on the Uber app. There was a lady 20 minutes from me, and there should be no Ubers in Garden City, Kansas, but she came and picked me up, and I looked at her, and I said, hey, you want to drive to Sharon Springs? And she goes, never been there. Let's go. 2-hour drive in the Uber, 30 minutes out of town. She looked in the rearview mirror, and she goes, hey, you're Chad Prather. And I go, I hope this isn't a problem, because if you don't like me and you're about to kick me off in the middle of Kansas farmland, it's going to be a long freaking walk for me to get to Sharon Springs. We got there, pulled a guitar out of the car, went in, plugged up, did a 2-hour show. Fantastic time. And then I had to sit around in West Kansas for another 24 hours until somebody could drive over and pick me up and take me to Wichita. So here we are. Here we are. We're going back to Kansas, baby. Planning. I hope you guys will plan for your future. Travel plans are one thing. Making plans for the future, another thing. But it's always planning. There should always be planning. And if you're anything like me, or specifically Party Foul Steve, we don't believe in doing a whole lot of administrative work if we don't have to. So that's why you need to let your future get taken care of by the friends over at Birch Gold. They will help you do that planning. If you will text Chad, C-H-A-D, I'll spell it Chad, to 989898. They will help you. They will send you the plan. They will get you a free, no obligation information kit. If you talk to them on the phone, they will walk you through the process of how to take whatever retirement plan you got now, or maybe you need to start one, and they will make sure that you have an IRA, and it will be backed by physical precious gold. Gold's not going anywhere, folks. It's getting more and more valuable all the time. So I say secure your retirement future with Birch Gold. Text CHAD to 989898. I'm watching this NPR and PBS testimony on Capitol Hill, and leave it to Marjorie Taylor Greene to bring props and visuals of, wow. If you're watching this stuff over there, crazy. Text Chad to 989898. All right, bring him on. Make the dogs go crazy. Party Foul Steve. There he is.
Everyone can yell at me, send the dirty messages to me. I will ignore those.
Well, we could change that number, but yeah, you've been with me on the road. You've seen my plight with the do not rent lists and stuff. And you would say, since you're the road manager, like every now and then we could like rent one in your name, but Party Foul Steve's scared to death that the money's going to come out of his account.
I absolutely have preserved my perfect rental car history
by not paying for any of them.
So I just want to make sure that someday when there's the absolute last resort, we can't get where we need to go without it, then it's available.
You guys don't understand. Somebody said rent under Steve. You do not understand the crazy beast that is Party Foul Steve. This dude is like, nope, not doing it, because he's scared to death that somebody's going to take money out of one of his accounts. He just ain't going to do it.
It's not only that. I'm afraid that they're going to break it or something, and I'm not going to get it back in the way. I'm one of those that let's say I borrow your truck and I use your truck. When I bring it back, it's going to have fuel in it, and it's probably going to be cleaner than when I got it. And I don't feel like anybody else thinks that way.
Most people don't. But if you rent a car, so you're afraid somebody's going to like run into it and break the bumper on it, and now
they're going to turn it in dirty under my name, or they're going to, there's going to be
You're allowed to turn in a rental car dirty.
Yeah, I can't. I clean out the trash every time we stop.
We turn in the rental cars a little bit dirty every now and then. Like they're a little, not crazy, but you act like if somebody ran into the car, like I wouldn't be the one that ends up paying for it. I'd be the one who ends up paying for the rental fee anyway.
That's true.
You're a weird dude, man. You're quirky.
You can use my perfect rental car history anytime you want.
Yeah. You're a quirky dude. Like, we deal with the wildest of the wild stuff that happens out on the road traveling, but, here we are. Here we are, going to Austin tomorrow. Speaking of weird, got to go speak to that group of folks. They're not weird, but Austin is. And so got to get over there and do all that stuff. Anyway, so good.
It'll be fun. I just need to know what time we're leaving.
Yeah. Mr. Producer, don't apologize. It was okay. I heard you a little bit in my ear. Anyway, all good. Ark of the Covenant was found. I mean, it's some Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff. Apparently, they
Are
said
they
they
sure?
found it. It's the CIA says they found it in 1988. I mean, I'd love to know what all the CIA has supposedly found. You know,
You know what? That could explain all the evil crap happening in the world since 1988. Because about 1988, yep,
you think so?
All went downhill then. So they opened the thing up. All the demons came out, and they started dressing up like women.
Yeah, it's in one. I saw the documentary on it. It's in one of the warehouses. You know, Indiana Jones put it in there. Don't open the top up. Secret CIA files. This is our friend Brianna Morello. Claimed that the Ark of the Covenant has been found. It may be somewhere in Ethiopia. For ages, the resting place of the chest said to house the Ten Commandments, and it's eluded discovery, yet CIA records assert that the Ark of the Covenant has been located. You know, I think the age of the Ark of the Covenant, by the estimation, goes back to around 1400, 1500 BC. And if you'll remember in the New Testament, when it says Jesus was crucified, that the veil that separated the Holy of Holies in the temple from the outer courts, it was rent from top to bottom, and it says that it revealed that there was nothing back there. It was empty, which means that the Ark of the Covenant and all those things at the diaspora, at the dispersion, whenever the Jews, whenever the people of Israel and Judah were both at two different times taken into captivity, all of their artifacts and all of their gold and all of their valuables were taken away too. So it was no longer there, which is the symbolism of the New Testament was saying that the Judaism was now an empty religion, that it had no substance. The glory of God had left it. Believe what you want on that. That's what the New Testament says. And so I personally think it's gone. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. And even if you do touch it, I don't think there's any blessing, any glory, any evil, any curse, or anything else connected with the thing, because God done moved on from there. The Ark of the Covenant, literally, so it was a box. It was a golden box, had angels, seraphim, if you will, with their wings touching over the top of it. They were face to face. And so the glory of God rested between the faces of the angel when it came down, the Shekinah, or the manifest glory of God in the Holy of Holies. And the priest would go back into the Holy of Holies once a year. He had the little pomegranates or whatever, the little bells tied around his ankle. And if they stopped jangling or clanking together, they knew he was dead in the presence of God. They tied a rope around his foot and they brought him out of there. They drug him out because nobody could go in there to get him. But there's a pattern throughout the scripture of God manifesting between the faces of his people. That's why when people praise, you praise towards one another. The psalm talks about sing your praises to one another. God manifesting in the praise between the two faces. That's one of the reasons why God in the marriage covenant of sexual intercourse intends for people to be face to face, because the glory of God manifests in that covenant relationship. Just to see who all's still paying attention here, we bring a little sex into the thing. You're like, how dare you? No, it's actually a fact. Everything is about being face to face. So that's why the angels were there, but now they're gone. So I'd like to see this box. I want to see this box. Let's go to Ethiopia. Let's go pick it up.
Is that where missionary style comes from?
Yes.
Face to face?
Yes. Well, that's not why they call it that. It's because the missionaries went to places as missionaries, and that's the way they did it.
Oh.
And the natives said,
I don't. Well, you know, the Ark of the Covenant, that could become, it's almost like it's become an idol itself. Everybody's so consumed with, where's the Ark of the Covenant? Where's the, Noah's Ark? All that kind of, things of the past, of the history have almost become like, well, like you said, there's nothing in that.
No. But I would, oh, Maggie Moo. The funny thing about all of it is if you go back and watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, the special effects when their faces melted compared to today's cinematic standards and CGI and everything else were horrible. Like, it was just these waxy dudes just melted down and their eyeballs popped out.
But when it came out, that was scary, dude.
It was, dude. You're like, I don't want to look at that.
I was like, I saw it live in the, I say live, I saw it in the movie theaters, the big screen.
Yeah.
And that was scary. We covered our eyes and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday we were talking about boiling wieners, and today we're talking about missionaries. Leave it to you to make that connection, but that's true. It's an interesting study. It's an interesting Bible study. Sometime maybe I'll do it about God manifesting his presence between the faces of his people. He talks about the pattern of praise and worship with the angels and then the people and then the pattern of the tabernacle and then the temple and all of these things, and how ultimately they all found their fulfillment as symbolic of finding themselves in Jesus. Even the two thieves on either side of the cross, and Jesus was manifest in between them. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of threes, from the Trinity all the way down. There's a lot of things like that. Even the tabernacle and the temple was divided into threes. There was the outer court, the inner court, and then the Holy of Holies. And it's an interesting pattern when you start to get into these different, the patterns that are there in the scripture. I like that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun.
numerology is a whole nother religion in itself.
Well, it is, and I don't buy into a bunch of that stuff. I think that there are significance. Numbers do have meaning, but not like that, right? Did you tell me about a story where a dude won the lottery by playing 666?
Yeah, he won a smaller lot. He played the number 666 on his, like, you pick 3. He won like $500. He took $100 from that and then won, a couple $1,000,000.
Wow.
But all started from the 666, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, see, and the 666, the symbolic, the numerical symbolic part of that is 6 is the number of man. 666 is the number of man elevated into a trinity, so it elevates man to godhood. So the essence of the mark of the beast is not about getting computer chipped as much as it is or something like that. It's elevating man to a place of godhood, which is a whole other story. But Party Foul Steve's picking your lottery. He is picking your lottery numbers.
No, I stay away from those. You ever been to the grocery store and the total adds up to 666? I was like, no, add some
Another
tax
penny?
to it, or I'm going to grab something else. Another penny on
So
there.
that's a little superstitious, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm a little superstitious on some things like that.
Yeah, you won't even rent a rental car. You don't even put a rental car in your name because you're superstitious that somebody's going to run into it in the La Quinta parking lot.
Yeah.
And we don't stay at La Quinta because that's Spanish for next to Denny's. Let me talk about, before we get to the next story, let me talk about Modern Warriors. I like these guys. This is a great place to go shop. Go over to Modern Warriors and check out all the stuff that they got. ModernWarriors.com. And if you want to save, get a little discount, you can use CHAD. I spell it Chad. But Modern Warriors is a one-stop shop for all the tactical needs you might have, whether it's a firearm, a suppressor, a connector, some of your bags, some of your gear, all the stuff, man. It's just cool to get over there and go shopping. They got a lot of hard to find items as well. So if you're out there shopping looking for something, you can't put your finger quite on it, Modern Warriors can help you out. Who doesn't like shopping for that kind of stuff, man? It's fantastic. Head over to modernwarriors.com, use promo code Chad, and save a little money. I like to do a little shopping. I got a couple of things, Steve. We got to take them over to the gunsmith. Got a couple of things that need to be worked out on a couple of items of mine that I'm scared to touch a little bit because I want to make sure it's done right. But have you been over there, Steve? ModernWarriors.com. Have you checked them out?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
But I don't own any guns. I threw them all in the lake
You
whenever.
You lying like a dingy dangy dong.
Got rid of them all.
This is my rifle and this is my gun. You're a Marine. You know the difference. Yeah. Yeah. Here you go. Crystala 85. Chad, I noticed the Facebook post you made with some Bible verses has 666 comments, so I had to make 667. There you go. There you go. John Dental, Topeka, Kansas, 66614. Heck of a zip code right there, man.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop. I got guns. Come get them.
Number 13. I like the number 13 though, and that's supposed to be unlucky. But I was married on Friday the 13th, so it's been pretty lucky so far.
Yeah, there you go. Not a gun safe; it's a document safe. I like that. Donald Trump says he's going to look into the trafficking of baby parts by Planned Parenthood. Basically, I think Trump gets asked these questions and he's like, yeah, we'll look into it. Now, how much he's actually looking into it, I don't know. Somebody said, what do you mean trafficking baby parts? I saw somebody comment. This was one of Liz Churchill's deal. Says, this is kind of scary stuff when you think about the abortion industry, the murder industry, and then what is being harvested from these unborn babies. And Liz goes so far to uncover some of the documents to say this is what they were doing. If that's the case, begs the question, if this is human remains, then what are you doing murdering them? What are you doing aborting them? And if they're taking these parts, which should be something very, very sacred, even though it's treated like one of the worst things, and in the worst way, if they're doing this.
Their argument would be that they're not human beings.
That would probably be their argument. But here's the thing. That is illegal to dismember those parts and then not, I hate using these words, but to dispose of these parts in the proper way, in the respectful way. Again, the hypocrisy of the abortion industry. This is just another thing here. So, I can remember when people were very concerned about certain elements of like collagen in their shampoos and conditioner because there was evidence and proof that those were actually coming from, protein cells from aborted babies. It's just gross. These are the things that I would like to get into. I'm not so worried about the Ark of the Covenant. My life's going to be fine if nobody ever finds the Ark of the Covenant. Great archaeological find or, whatever, if that's what you want to be distracted with. It's a cool thing to talk about. I do want to get to the bottom of this. This stuff matters to me. This stuff, the Crossfire Hurricane, those kind of things we were talking about this morning, all of these things, I do want to get to the bottom of this because I want these nasty organizations that have been funded by taxpayer dollars, which Trump did say that he was going to make sure that Planned Parenthood wasn't getting any more of the federal taxpayer dollars. This is evil. And it's a murder industry, and I wanted it fully, totally exposed. Yeah,
it is all that, but there's also some, it's one of those things. They do some good things in the community too. They
name one,
like maybe provide birth control. Don't they do that?
Anybody can get birth control. Anybody can get birth control. That's not how they make a living.
I thought there were some good things. No, I know they do it by killing babies.
It's again, whoever controls the language controls society, controls the culture. What they've done by calling themselves women's health care or women's reproductive health is all a lot of nonsense right there. People can get birth control. People can get birth control. They can get it. It's not hard to get birth control.
They pass out condoms in middle school, so...
Again, 85% of all Planned Parenthoods are within a walking distance of an urban community. All you got to do is go down to Houston, 12,000 square foot, 7-story building right there. It's one of the biggest medical buildings or clinics, I should say, murder clinics in Houston right there. And it's right there within a walking distance of an urban community. Why? Because that's who they target.
Genocide of a community.
It is. Margaret Sanger, that's what she was after, and we know that. That's why even Planned Parenthood has now renounced Margaret Sanger and took her name off the building of the original one in Manhattan. People. I mean, there's enough people out there doing stupid things trying to kill themselves. Take a look at this. Here's this guy. Watch him try to protest this. He's going to protest Tesla. You ready? Here he goes. Here he comes, y'all. Here he comes. Bam! This fat ass.
Oh, and now I got one question. What is he riding?
It's some kind of four-wheeler. Bam! Look at that.
With a jug for a gas can? Has he got an air pump on his back?
Yeah, he got an air pump. He got one of them manual air pumps on there, apparently for his wheel or something like that. But that's, you know what? That
guy's got a story.
He's going to have a lot going on with his future because now he's going to go to jail and never be able to vote again. And it looks, based on the stupidity, that I'm okay with that. So, bam, he did. He's got a gas jug on the front of that thing. It's like he built that sucker with a Briggs and Stratton motor. That does look like one of those old homemade, go-karts that he built to make it look like a four-wheeler.
He didn't even brace for impact.
No, just There's the explosion. I mean, to think about it, he's got he's got a milk jug on the front filled with gasoline. That's what, he better be glad he didn't blow up with this deal.
Look at his handlebars when he hits it. Boom, and he had to pull them back.
Then he got to get down there and get to the ripcord again, or there's a little pull cord to Dude, I can't with this stuff anymore. I mean, he's got built-in airbags. Look at this guy. Yeah. He'd be skinnier if diets weren't racist.
It didn't do any damage to the car, it doesn't appear, so.
Look at that, in slow-mo. Bring it in.
Check the handlebars out.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. It's Fat Albert. I always wonder what happened to that guy. That looks like Norbert's wife. Norbert's wife, Eddie Murphy. Hercules. That's Nutty Professor's family right there. Oh, mama, little baby got gas. Hercules. Man, take me out, give me a nice dinner, show me a good time. I'll bring him home and give him nice, hot relations. Out in the back,
no,
just pumping and a sweating. Glory of God. Sherman. Oh, Sherman. Oh, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Oh, mama, little baby got get. Oh, that's so good.
Mr. Producer's pretty fast there. He's fast.
He's pretty good. Be like, done farted was so bad it had teeth on it, you know. You walk over, but you limp back. Look at that, man. I always wondered what happened to Fat Albert. Look at those things. That looks like, what's his name on What's Happening? Raj. It wasn't Raj. Rerun. It was Rerun.
Yeah.
Man, how is it we know so many fat black people? Because diets are racist. Come on, Cletus. I see you. Come on, Cletus. The clumps. Now, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
We spent too much time on a fat guy on a homemade four-wheeler.
But you know what? I needed a little laugh. Here's another one. This guy shaved his Adam's apple, and he's convinced now he's a biological female. Still sounds like a dude to me. Play the clip and listen.
Republicans, I've gotten surgery to remove my Adam's apple, my forehead, and my jaw. That makes me the equivalent of a biological female. Hey, Republicans.
Well,
I've gotten surgery to remove my Adam's apple.
You got to start with the balls.
You missed a little part called your chromosomes. Like, you can't change those, but you also left the other parts. Like, if you're focused on removing the Adam's apple and fixing your forehead and softening your jawline, that's and he says you can't argue with facts. Well, you snatched them britches down. Like, I know from watching that clip that happened at the DFW airport. Party Foul Steve, nothing fun like that ever happens for us at the airport, where that woman was running around naked, losing her mind. Did you see that clip where she's running around?
Yes, I saw that.
We don't need to show it because it's full frontal. I mean, it's crazy. But she was in Terminal
I watched it
D.
like 13 or 14 times last night.
You ain't proud, but you watched it. So I mean, this person would have made a better Snow White than the other girl. But I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know. Like, you got to see, like, it's easy to selfie yourself and take pictures from the angles to make yourself look a certain way. I mean, kudos to the surgeon here for carving up on this person, I guess, if that's what you're going for. But I guarantee you, if I met this person in real life and interacted with this human being, I would still know that's a dude. Because this angle ain't showing all the angles, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, you'd be able to
for
pick
your
them
sake.
Yeah, I mean, I never forget that time me and Kyle were out there. You weren't with us. We were at the what's the place in Colorado? The big honky tonk out there.
Rose.
Everybody's played out there.
Gypsy something Rose.
The Rose. Yeah, we're out there.
Something Rose. Stumbling Rose. Or
No.
Gypsy Rose. Or
Somebody will tell me. I got to go to Colorado this week. How am I not? Anyway, We'll get back to the airport thing in a minute. You know, me and Kyle were out there, and this little skinny person comes running in their little tight dress, and I'm like, "Dadgum!" But then you saw from behind you, like the head had a head like a house cat. I mean, like the head was like this, like a giant basketball on a little tiny body. Like, that's a guy, Grizzly Rose. Thank you, Wolfman. You said Gypsy Rose and threw me off. Grizzly Rose.
I said Stumbling Rose, Gypsy Rose, just because I know all those.
Andrew said it too. Shout out to you guys both. If Grizzly Rose, Whitney, that's right. The Grizzly Rose. We've been there so many times. Gypsy Rose, Stumbling Rose. I've stumbled. Eric Church fell off the stage out there. That was the Stumbling Rose out there. Anyway,
it's a Stumbling Goat. Stumbling Goat's a name of a bar. Some up there in Pampa, Texas, or somewhere like that.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to slip my brain. Anyway, that chick dancing around in the airport at DFW in Terminal D, and we're not going to play it, but she's butt naked. Like, I knew that was a biological female. Now, what do you think, Steve, after watching that clip? By the way, just a little closure in case we don't come back to the dude that shaved his face and his neck, throat, ball, junk, whatever. That's the dude. Doesn't make you a biological dude. I'm preaching to the choir. That's that. These people are unhinged and delusional and demonized. And I don't know, this girl might have been demonized. She was breaking TVs and just for your own sake, I don't understand why that guy, and it might have been assault, I don't know, but why don't you just walk up and knock her out? Just like that, bam. Sit down, quit running all over. You're in front of the kids and God and everybody. Just bam.
Yeah,
here you go.
Could have jumped on top of her. And
I mean, she's throwing water on them and she's throwing her phone and all that kind of stuff. Just bam, there you go. You're out. You're asleep now. I'm alive. I'm dead. I'm alive again. I'm asleep. I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm running around the airport naked. I'm in Terminal D. Hey. She's dropping F-bombs and M-R-F for everybody and then throwing her phone off the TV, which the TV was way up here. She was actually doing pretty good catching that phone when it come back down. And then
broke the TV.
It finally broke the TV. I don't know what happened here, but I have my speculation about what happened, and it's kind of funny. But what do you think happened here, Steve?
Oh, this is probably went through the TSA. Oh, y'all want to search me? Here you go. This is just crazy come out.
Well,
you think this is alcohol induced?
My theory is she went through the TSA.
Yeah, she's on that side. She
went through the TSA, so she made it through there. She discovered she had some drugs. And rather than throw them in the trash, she took them. It could have been in her behind. I don't know. But she took the drugs rather than throw them away. Now, this could be some schizophrenia. This could be some demonization going on. Maybe
it's postpartum depression.
It could be a lot of things.
I don't know.
This is an estrogen overload, what's going on. But I'd love to hear in the chat what you guys think. I think maybe she took her drugs. She had her little...
The full video's over on X, so I think you can watch the full video over on X.
Oh, it's over there. And she... Could be demons, Tiffany. Could be demons. It also could be ecstasy or some crazy stuff going on. And bam, she took it. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Speaking of the right kind. Oh, my girl Tiffany Gomez, look at her. I don't know, it's not real. It's not real.
Something happening in those airports. It's maybe the Ark of the Covenant.
Tiffany swears up and down. Tiffany Gomez, she swears up and down. She just had an episode, but she said, "I'm not getting back on that plane, and that ever back there is not real."
What kind of episode you got to have like that?
Dude, I don't know, but maybe she woke up in a dream state or something like that. But anyway, I'm curious. Now, Tiffany, God bless Tiffany. Holler at me. She got famous off of that deal, man. She got a big old following off of that deal. Still don't know. And then Mr. Producer's getting as close as he can to that top video. Not real. Oh, man. We fly every week, dude. We've seen some crazy stuff, but nothing like that. It's like that girl that took off her clothes the other day on the Southwest flight. Maybe she took her drugs too. I don't know.
I guess I missed that one.
She would run up and down the aisle. I text our friend Carrie Sanchez and my friends that work for Southwest. I'm like, did you see this chick? Were you on the flight with this one? Nope. Do the right kind of stuff, man. Get your prescriptions, okay? Don't connect it with this nonsense. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com. How's that for a segue? allfamilypharmacy.com and use promo code Chad. Actually, if you go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Chad, you're gonna have the discount built in. I went shopping yesterday, got myself some more ivermectins. Let me tell you, you got to have this stuff on hand. It's good to have the emergency medical kits. It's good to have your protocols on hand. You don't want to end up in some kind of crazy supply chain mess where you're not getting stuff that's coming from overseas. And yes, your prescription medications do come from overseas. If you talk to them, there's a good chance they can help you make sure that you have emergency supplies of the other medications that you've been getting from, the big pharma. But some things you need to have on hand. Talk to them at allfamilypharmacy.com/Chad. Get on there. They'll look at your weight and height. They'll tell you what your dosage ought to be on your ivermectin protocol. And they'll ask you, are you trying to do COVID? Is it a cancer thing? Is it a anti-parasitic protocol? They'll ask you about all these things. These are doctors, and they can help you out. You shop, you tell them the quantities, it goes into your cart. They will approve they look at your stuff, they review everything, the doctors do, and then they will make an assessment accordingly, and they'll ship it to you in a couple of days. So anyway, allfamilypharmacy.com/Chad. All right, let's talk about Hegseth for a minute. This is crazy, dude. So the Atlantic article from Jeffrey Goldberg, he was the one who got included in that text thread on the Signal thing, right? So I'm sitting here looking, and, he did a deal, said the Trump administration accidentally texted me. Now, obviously, the vice president and the Secretary of Defense, they did not purposefully put a radical lefty, quote, journalist from the Atlantic in this thing on purpose. This is a snafu done by somebody. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. Didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling. I see what he did there. He said, I knew 2 hours before the first bombs exploded that the attack might be coming. The reason I knew this is that Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, had texted me war plans at 11:44 a.m., the plan including precise information about weapons packages, targets, and timing. This is going to require some explaining. The story begins shortly after the Hamas invasion. So there's really goes in all this history. And then he talks about his history with Pete Hegseth. He talks about receiving a connection request on Signal from a user identified as Michael Waltz. Michael Waltz is now the National Security Advisor. He says, I did not assume, however, that the request from the actual Michael Waltz. I have met him in the past. I thought I didn't find it particularly strange that he might be reaching out to me. I did think someone unusual given the Trump administration's contentious relationship with journalists and Trump's periodic fixation on me specifically. So that's how he's saying basically he got involved in this Signal chat group. I have some questions about that, because so anyway. So that's of course the Atlantic message. You can get into that thing and you can start, he's got the message right there. Hold it right there, Mr. Producer. The message to the group from Michael Waltz read as follows: team establishing principles group for coordination on Houthis. And I lost myself there. You moved on me. I can't see it. Anyway, and he lists off the people that are there. Dan Katz. Hold still, Mr. Producer. Go back down. That next part right there. So you got all the people that are listed that were in the thing, supposedly in the thing. And, of course, the rest is, as we say, history. Now, Pete Hegseth says there were no wartime plans that were in there. Pete Hegseth gave the interview out there. We'll play that in just 1 second. But he tweeted today, or he posted on X, He said, let me get this straight. The Atlantic released the so-called war plans. Those plans, this is from Pete Hegseth, by the way. No names, no targets, no locations, no units, no routes, no sources, no methods, no classified information. Those are some really crappy war plans, Hegseth said. This only proves one thing. Jeff Goldberg has never seen a war plan or an attack plan, as he now calls it, not even close. And as I type this, my team and I are traveling the region, meeting with commanders, the guys who make real war plans, and talking to troops. We'll continue to do our job while the media does what it does, peddle hoaxes. So this is not good. Obviously, Goldberg got included in that, regardless of what got revealed. Let's play this clip from Fox News. From
exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used, and
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
Right,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The NSC said it was authentic.
Now, I think two things could be true at once, as we alluded to earlier, and that is we have a problem. This is a problem if Goldberg was included in that deal, and apparently he was. They got the chat leak that came out. They put it out. He put out more this morning, and
there's a problem right there with that. Goldberg released so much of the chat. Who released the rest of the chat? Was that us, or was that Goldberg releasing more of that chat?
Yeah,
because they would have access to all that chat as well.
Yeah. Well, and
because
again,
he's controlling the news, and he's going to let that first wave go, and then they're going to make all their statements, and then followed up with another release of some more of the text messages, and then they're going to probably have to backtrack on some of the stuff if he said there were no war plans, and there's something later on that comes out that there was. Then that's a different. They're going to catch him in a lie.
Well, I can just
that's what I'm worried about.
I can just tell you that, and there's some other things concerning to get into, but let me just say, the Democrats, the left, are obviously going to try to blow this up as much as they can, which I find to be extremely hypocritical. And let me tell you why. You had Lloyd Austin, who at the beginning of last year went missing for 4 days to go get his prostate surgery. Nobody even knew he was gone. And then his deputy director was she was AWOL as well. She wasn't even in the country. Never even told the president, who was vacationing on a beach in Delaware, that he was not going to be in the office. Never says. And let me remind you guys what happened at Abigate, Bagram Airport in Afghanistan, on that botched, crazy withdrawal where 13 service members died in a terrorist attack. No one was fired for that. They want to talk about, I saw Elizabeth Warren and all these pinheads today talking about how there needs to be accountability. Pete Hegseth needs to be fired. They need to resign, all because of putting service members in harm's way. Now, if you could see that screen, this is the picture of service members being put in harm's way. Telling our enemies, people that have exposed us and also come after our national interest and attacked our people, whether it's in the canal or wherever it may be, saying, hey, we're about to take care of these people. I don't see that so much as putting someone in harm's way. The Biden administration absolutely did. These 13 service members didn't come home, and when they did come home in coffins draped in American flags, Joe Biden, standing on the tarmac with Dr. Gilly, was checking his watch because he had somewhere else apparently he needed to be. So, no, I don't think you resign over this. I say, screw you guys for your hypocrisy. There needs to be some accountability to see what's going on. Me personally, I don't know that it was Mike Waltz. I can't say. I will play this clip of what he had to say a minute ago, but I have some issues with somebody else here in the administration. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out, is the CIA so corrupt that they're putting, activist journalists in a text thread? Because let's remember, the Signal app was created by the intelligence agency of the United States. So
someone put him in that chat. Who put him in that chat?
Open to hear what people's opinions are on this. Play the clip. This is Mike Waltz, what he had to say.
We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
So you don't know.
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
So the Democrats obviously are saying Hegseth needs to resign. They would love nothing more than that. I have some pretty strong language that if I wasn't on this network, I would be happy to say on this whole deal. But the Democrats are saying he needs to resign. And then, of course, right on the heels of this, you have this corrupt judge, the one who was trying to keep the borders open and make sure that the Tren de Aragua gang was not deported to El Salvador to go to prison. They put him on this case. Judge James Boasberg, District of Columbia, they put him on the case. Now you got an activist, a rogue activist judge with particular vested interest to go against the Trump administration to put him on this case. This stuff starts to get fishy real quick.
Yeah, I don't like any of it.
Yeah. And here is another thing that I have a problem with. Laura Loomer has now exposed. So you have Alex Wong. He is the Chinese Deputy National Security Advisor appointed by President Trump, who's at the center of this scandal. He's married to U.S. Attorney Candace Chu Wong, a Chinese woman who was one of the key attorneys involved in the prosecution of J6ers. Wong was appointed by President Trump on 11/22/24 to serve as the assistant to the president and the principal deputy national security advisor under Mike Waltz. I don't understand why that appointment was made. Why would you appoint someone when you find out or know that his wife worked under the Obama administration and the Biden administration as an assistant United States attorney in the United States Attorney's Office, that she led the violence reduction and trafficking offense section for more than 2 years. She was involved in the prosecution of the J6ers during Biden's administration.
I mean, this guy, he could have put the Wong number in there.
Look at you. I see what you just did. Did you just say the Wong number?
I couldn't help myself.
What is wrong with you right now?
I got dad jokes. I'm sorry.
So I want to know why you have a Chinese deputy national security advisor married to a Chinese U.S. attorney who worked under Obama and Biden and who helped prosecute J6ers after the stolen 2020 election. This is Loomer's post. She says this is unacceptable given the Chinese connections. It really makes you wonder if Jeffrey Goldberg, the reporter from The Atlantic, was added to the Trump signal chat on purpose as part of a foreign op to embarrass the Trump administration on behalf of China.
The Democrats are looking for a win anywhere they can get it because all they're getting is loss on everything. So they've got to find something. They have to get a win. So they're going to keep looking.
Yeah.
And they'll do whatever it takes.
Well, there'll be some things that'll happen. That's for sure. I have no doubt about it. I lost my Google app here. Let me go over to the iPad. I got the backup, Daddy. I'm using my VPN, man, and it wants to be mean to me sometimes. Let's go over here. So you got, I guess you got it. That's about it. I just tell you, they want some kind of win, bro. They really do. But I can just say this. As I pointed out, I know that Pete Hegseth, and I have my doubts it was Mike Waltz, and I know Vice President J.D. Vance didn't stick an Atlantic newspaper journalist
I don't believe
in order to expose themselves.
I don't believe that any of those guys did that purposely. Somebody working for them could have done it accidentally, and or somebody, one of the bad guys put it in there. However, man, these iPhones are something else. I've accidentally texted the wrong person before.
Well, Signal is pretty encrypted. Here's what Carolyn Levitt said. She shut down CNN Caitlin Collins, which when I love to see it. Let's play this clip right quick.
I've
now been asked and answered this question 3 times by the both of you, and I've given you my answer. The president feels the same today as he did yesterday.
Okay.
Philip.
I might follow up on what you had just
No,
said.
go ahead, Philip.
Caitlin,
I'm not taking your follow-up. Philip, go
I have
ahead.
a follow-up on something you just said, though, Caroline. That's
Caitlin,
regarding
I'm not
Jeffrey
taking
Goldsberg.
your follow-up. Philip, go ahead. I have called on you. Thank you.
Vice President.
See, that's the way I talk to Party Foul Steve, is I'm not taking your follow-up.
It's probably best not to take my follow-up.
Oh, man. I don't ever want to get on the bad side of any of these women. I really don't. I really just try to have fun in life, man. I really just try to have a good time, hang out,
She's
talk
like,
to people.
she's like, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I'm not taking your thing. J.D. Vance, he was in front of the Marines today. As you know, J.D. Vance is a Marine, and this was
Hoorah.
their reaction. These are not Marines. That is the White House press pool. Turn him up, J.D. They went crazy for J.D. Vance. You can't understand what they say because the crayon's in their mouth.
Hurrah, Marines, how we doing?
Yeah,
They're giving those hoorahs.
they're giving those hoorahs. They're going at it, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Ah, boy. All right, I got things I got to do. We got things we got to do. I don't know if we got a super chat in there or not. Do you know? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? My moves. Do American Express Business Credit Card. They cover car rental insurance, so you don't have to buy the extra coverage. Check it out. That's what I had for business travel. It's good advice. American Express. Not a bad piece of advice. Party Foul Steve, you are not allowed to get any more credit cards.
No, I stopped getting credit cards.
Yeah.
I got my credit card debt under 30% of and I'm done. I'm never putting anything else on a credit card.
No, I haven't. I've got a business credit card that gets paid off every month. But other than that, I've not had a credit card since 2007. I'm pretty proud of that.
I just paid off a lunch I bought in 1997. About 1997, I just paid that lunch off.
I wonder how much you actually paid for that lunch.
Yeah, no telling. I probably paid a few $1,000s.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Todd's got a show this afternoon. Maggie Moo does not. She will be back tomorrow. Brandon Morello, she'll be out there breaking it down with her hot takes of the news. I love her. And she is the good place to get your news from. Like I said, Party Foul Steve and I were just hanging out, man, having a good time. I'll do you a Chad's Church tomorrow. We'll have a good time and put that thing out there on a live premiere. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning for the Dear America show. I have a lot of stuff that I want to give away. Party Foul Steve and I were just talking about this. I have a lot of inventory of a lot of merch, T-shirts, hats, things like that, because we're starting over. I want to be started over with a whole new website, the whole new thing. I'm working on all these deals because that's what I got all the time in the world to be doing. So we're going to start doing some giveaways, but help me think of some ideas, guys, on how I can defray some of the shipping costs, postage costs, because that's going to add up if I start sending a bunch of stuff out to you guys. But I want to make some giveaways for the Dear America audience as well as the Chad Prather Show audience. And I got some stuff. It's great stuff. Just need to get it off the shelves. And I think the best way to do is just give it away.
We got to figure out a way to give it away, number one. And it could be that, what if, if people put for each show, if they put, $5 in the super chat,
Maybe.
and we draw from those super chats.
We could have a postage. Nah, that gets too hard because then too many people are giving and not winning. I want to make sure that.
Well, that's the way. It's like playing the lottery.
Well, that's not a giveaway. That's people basically paying their postage, and we're going to send it to them anyway. I mean, we could do something.
I was going to say,
that.
donate $6.66.
There is so much wrong with you right now.
I know it.
I'm
just trying to think of a way to give stuff away.
Well, I know. We'll talk about this. I wanted to hear from the folks in there. If you want to know what kind of stuff we talking about giving away, if you go over to my prathertees.com. If you go to watchchad.com and you go shop, that's the one it pulls up, prathertees.com. You'll see a lot of our stuff in there. I'm going to be doing some giveaways over the next couple of months, I think. And I just want to give. I like to give. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I was talking to my agent on the phone today, and he said, Chad, the problem with you, and everybody says it, Sarah Gonzalez gets so mad at me. She says, Chad, you are generous to a fault. And I said, you can't outgive God, people. You can't outgive God. And you start doing You know, and it's funny. Somebody said to me the other day, they said that they started reading their Bible more, and they said, man, our schedule is so packed. They said, but when I started reading my Bible more, I felt like God gave me more time in the day. That's an interesting perspective.
It is.
And give that stuff to the homeless. We do a lot for the homeless. We already have those things worked out. We've built a lot of mobile showers, a lot of mobile barber stations and shaving places, all that stuff with cloud-covered streets. We've raised a lot of money for the homeless. For those of you who don't know, I am an advisory board member for Wheelchairs for Warriors. We raise a lot of money for them. You know, I was on the board of directors with Chris Kyle's family. His parents and brother and sister-in-law. I was on there for a number of years till I ran for office, had to step up. So we do a lot of charitable stuff. Trust me, we do a lot of giveaways. We do a lot of things for emergencies and crises that happen throughout the country. But I will say that I'm looking for ways just to bless our audience. I think it'd be a fun way to do it, and it gets some stuff out there because you'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. I don't. A lot of people living under a bridge wouldn't appreciate a shirt that says pronouns thee, she, it, which is one of our all-time bestsellers. My pronouns thee, she, it. You say that in your free time when you're in Terminal D at DFW Airport, running around buck naked. There you go. There you go. All right. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. Get your butt into, we are coming to South Louisiana. We're going to be in Jefferson, Louisiana, which I think is just north of New Orleans. We're bringing the Gulf of America tour down there. So we got a lot of stuff coming in. We got Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We're bouncing around a lot of little towns. So appreciate you guys. Love you. Party Foul Steve, anything before we say bye? There's Kyle Douglas.
Just follow me on Instagram at Party Foul Steve. Maybe I'll start putting some better content up there. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's just my face.
He was stirring it up yesterday saying people are sending him messages trying to get information about me. It made it look like people were trying to investigate me. They're not. They just want to date me.
I'm going to tell you what happened. I'll tell you exactly what happened. My 2.5 years I was gone, nobody sent me a message about nothing. I went like 2.5 years, nothing. Within a few weeks, all of a sudden, hey, is chat? They want to know if you're drinking. They want to know who you're dating. They want to, is he okay? Is all this kind of stuff. I don't answer none of them, because that's your personal business. It gets old after a while of people. That's the only reason they want to talk to me is to talk about you.
No, people want to talk.
I ain't got time for them.
You say that, but Party Foul Steve, we were in a hotel one time, and I don't remember where we were. We were in a hotel one time, and a guy walked up to you because he heard your voice from across the lobby, and he's like, "Aren't you on a podcast?"
Yeah, he didn't know which one though, but he
Party
did,
Foul
until
Steve.
I said Chad Prather. No, and that's cool.
Steve.
That's fine, but it's like, do people really think I'm gonna talk about your personal life to them, and I don't know who they are? I don't at all. It's like, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do
That's
think.
your business.
Because, again, when you have folks like me, and I'm nobody, but, guys like Graham Allen or some of these people that we talk about on the news or make the headlines, they don't think you're real people. They don't think you're real people. And I try to be as real as I possibly can be. I certainly don't walk on water and never have claimed
Does Chad
to.
Prather really cry? I'm like,
Not in front of Steve.
Yeah, he was crying and bitching this morning about something.
Kyle Douglas 10, he said, I just gave $20 to a homeless guy today for him to go buy a meal. Hopefully he really needed a meal, but that's not my responsibility. No, it's not. It's not. And
no,
God
it's
bless
not.
you for
Once
doing
you
that.
when you give someone money, and you say, I've heard the whole, they're just going to go buy liquor with it. That's not on you.
No.
That's on them. You give, and you give with that heart of, I'm giving this.
And I always tell people, you be sensitive to what, your conscience and spirit's telling you to do. I've had people who've come
Mine
out and
says
said,
roll that window up at the intersection most of the time.
Like Jesse Payton says, the homeless guy out there asking for change, and he's got the mask on. He's like, bro, you can take your mask off. You're home.
Dude, they got Venmo now. So
they do.
I mean, you could pull up and they got their Venmo on a little cardboard sign.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna put that in my back windshield. I heard somebody say, it's like their bachelor party, and they had their app Venmo on their back of their car, and people were sending them money. It's like, all right,
man,
that's pretty smart. Just
Man.
put it out there.
I guess
Party
so.
Foul Steve.
I never had Party Foul Steve on Venmo. Man, I appreciate you guys. We're going to get out of here for Party Foul Steve, for Mr. Producer. We will be on the Dear America Show tomorrow morning. Catch Todd's show at 3. Megan move back tomorrow. Brianna Morello on tonight, and all the other gang out there. Comes with Fire Boys will be out there tonight, I think 9 p.m. So y'all check them out. I love you. God bless you. I got stuff to do, and I'll talk to you in the morning. Bye.